Mark Bryan is joining me.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Thanks for having me, Brian. I appreciate it.
Why don't you introduce your fellow musicians?
I would love to do that. The man on the far end over there with the mandolin is Mr. Dan Curtis. And he's a fine player, no doubt about it. Of course, the gal in the middle that you heard singing, that's Miss Christy Miller. And she plays the bass guitar with us, and like you saw, she sings her own songs with the guitar and everything. The man on the end is Craig Hopwood. We always call him the hippie every time we're here. He plays the dobro.
The Hawaiian hippie.
The Hawaiian hippie, right. He's ready to head for the islands in the morning. He's after the fair. The man on the sound that we brought out with us is Walt Ferguson, and we thank you for coming out, Walt. You're doing a good job.
When you sing, you yodel. Is that a trademark?
Actually, Jimmy Rogers, the father of country music, really sort of put that into the country voice way back, back in the 20s. And, of course, Hank Williams carried it a little further. And just from studying them, I guess, that's always been, you learn to talk from your parents, I guess. That's the way.
Tell me something. How does a city boy from Cambridge, Massachusetts, end up singing country western, bluegrass? How does that happen?
Purely by mistake. No, no. Actually, when I was a young boy, my Uncle Dickie and my Aunt Elaine. My Uncle Dickie was very much of a Hank Williams and a Roy Acuff fan and all that. And he had all the records. And my aunt was into rock and roll and Elvis and Buddy Holly, So I used to hear both of them a lot when I was at my grandparents' house. But I was only allowed to have the country records at home at the time. And so when I'd be handed records down, they were always the old Hank Williams EPs. And I used to have a little record player and listen to him, and he was my first idol in life. And just loved listening to Hank Williams and, of course, Roy Acuff and Hank Snow, the whole bunch of them. So I was very familiar with it all throughout my life.
Would you classify your music as country music?
I'm not quite sure. I kind of like to term it as folk music, But country folk, I guess, it's a hard thing to define, but it's not what a lot of people think of country when you say country music. They think of what you hear on the radio today, and that I don't want, if that's what country music is, then I surely don't want to be a part of that.
The first song you did, you talked about, in the lyrics, some of your dissatisfaction with country music. Would you elaborate on that?
Well, yeah, basically, if you listen to real traditional country music and you study it, and you hear what's on the radio, it's absolutely two different things. And what it's become is really just rock music with a steel guitar and or a fiddle added, and it's the same. I mean, if you took the fiddle out and think you could call it the Beatles, or not that I dislike the Beatles, because I truly love them, but what I'm saying, there's a distinction, and I think that's in the sound, and the instrumentation, and the message, just a lot of things.
The message is important because you told me that you felt that the newer country and the newer music tended towards a kind of sensationalism, which you really don't like.
Well, I think that the subject matter is not what I want to sing about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, to me, I can't take pride in singing that.
It seems to me that is it true, I'll ask you the question, is it true that to make it in country music, rock music, whatever kind of music, you have to kind of fit that mold? Do you think that's true?
Very true. I spent 10 years trying to fit that mold, and it don't work. So I just, I don't know, I just got kind of fed up with it.
And it's interesting because your music is so well respected. I think in May '79 you won first place in the Jimmy Rogers Memorial Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Roy Acuff? He said, I could listen to you all the time.
Yeah.
Tell me this. Knowing the differences of opinion that you have with music and the world, if you could go back to when you were 14 and decide what you wanted to do with your career, would you still be a musician?
I think I'd have no other choice, because I made up that decision when I was just, listening to Hank Williams and that old way back and everything. I do regret that, like I was saying, that I kind of regret that it's made it very difficult to make a living for my family and et cetera. I mean, I have two beautiful kids, and I think the world of them, and it's been really rough, because, I got a responsibility to them, but fortunately, I've been able to stick with it. I got a great wife that sticks with me, and she's,
That's
helped me
terrific.
out a lot.
Now, I'm going to have to cut you off because we want to know where you're going to play, and I know you're running off tonight to play for the state fair.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to be heading over there right now.
That's the state fair at Timonium Fairgrounds?
Yes, sir. We're going to be rushing there. I mean rushing.
So if an officer, don't give him a ticket. He's got somewhere to go. What tune will you close the show with?
We'll do a little bit of that Jimmy Rogers song that I used. I mentioned in the end of my song earlier about how, you know, it's good times here and better down the road. That was from a song called The Brakeman's Blues by Jimmy Rogers, and we'll do a little bit of that.
Well, thank you for joining us.
And
And as you walk over there, remember to pull that microphone off.
I sure will. Thank you.